welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know I have been gone for so long and I sincerely apologize. You guys have been dealing with real life. So let's get into this Nigerian brand Full Face. I cleaned off her face and now I'm using the Omaricode moisturizer, and I'm using this blade to remove the excess hair on her face or the undergrowth. After doing that, I'm going to be using the Yanga Beauty foundation, and this foundation is really beautiful, but the other side of this foundation is that it oxidizes very quickly, so you want to use a shade lighter than you are for your foundation, so that by the time it's going to oxidize, it oxidizes into your exact skin tone. So I'm blending this, I'm shade matching to my model's neck because her face is one shade lighter than her neck. So I'm shade matching to her neck, and I'm just blending one side of her face so I make sure that I shade match correctly, because when you're working on dark skin, once you shade match wrongly, you guys, that's the end of it. So you want to take your time in shade matching and make sure that you are doing it very rightly. So if you should match one side of the face, it's always easier to clean the face and start all over again if you got it wrong. Now I'm going into blush. I'm using a red shade of blush on her, and I'm using this brush from Thegirlzkorner to blend out my blush. Now I'm going into concealer. I'm using this concealer from Nubian Beauty. This is in the shade 046.5. I'm just using it in the inner corner, and then I would just use it on the T-zones, on the chin, everywhere I need to highlight. And I will be going into another shade after using this. I'm going into the shade 047. So I'm using this 047 on the outer corner of our face. This shade 047 is our exact foundation shade, so it makes my blending very easy. And with Nubian Beauty, you want to be very fast with your blending, so I did my blending very fast. Now I'm going into my powder. I'm so sorry I didn't film the setting part, the gen went off. Used the Nubian Beauty setting powder in caramel, and now I am going into contour application. I'm using the Blush Beauty powder in Cola. This powder is an OG powder. So now I'm using Blossom eyeshadow for my blush, because you guys, this eyeshadow is really nice and I can use it for more than one thing. Now I'm going into my nose contour. I'm using blot powder that I use for the contour. Now I'm setting the brows with the same Nubian Beauty setting powder in caramel to take away every powder or spray, anything that might have gotten to the brows. Now I'm going into my brows. I'm using the Davis pencil. Davis pencil is like the cheapest pencil on earth, you guys. It's even cheaper than Nigerian brands. Nigerian brand pencil is now like about 4K. So this is the cheapest you can get. So I did that nicely. Now I'm using this brush from Yanga Beauty. It's also a Nigerian brand. And I'm using the same concealer I used. To highlight her brows, to clean up the brows. And I'm using Yanga Beauty brush. So now I do that very nicely. After doing that, I make sure that I blend out my concealer. Even while applying it, I'm blending it out at the same time, because Nubian Beauty dries out on time. So you want to make sure that the way you are cleaning up the brows, you are also blending out the concealers at the same time. So I do that very nicely. When I'm done doing that, I go to the upper part and I use the exact shade, that foundation shade, that 047. Then after doing that, I'm using a brow gel. I'm using the Yanga and Esther brow gel, and I'm also applying it with the Thegirlzkorner brush. So I spread that nicely on the eyes, I make sure that the brow gel is not getting to the brow area, it's just on the lid. Then I blend it out immediately I'm applying it. I don't just apply it and leave it and dump it there, then wait to come and blend it. I blend it out immediately. I make sure that I also blend out the edges. The edges are not messy because that is what gives you harsh lines. So after blending that out, I'm going to use a brown eyeshadow on that brow gel. I'm going to use a brown eyeshadow to set the brow gel in place. So it gives me that smoky, nice brown smoky eyes. Yes, that's the look I'm trying to go for. So I'm going to use that as my eyeshadow base. Video, please subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me when I see that little subscription and like and your comments. It means so much to me. Thank you. Going to be baking and making sure the bridge of her nose is looking sharp and nice, and I am going to be doing a reverse contour. After doing all of that, I'm going to make sure I just do it nicely and everything is well done. I take my time while doing makeup so I don't rush, even though on this particular day I was exhausted, but I made sure that I took my time. The thing is me using my shimmer shade. I'm using this bronzy shade from the Blossom eyeshadow palette, and I'm using my pigment. I already used my pigment glue, and now I'm using this pigment from a Nigerian brand called Luzta Cosmetics. Luzta is like my favorite pigment brand. I love all their shades. They have the most beautiful pigment, and a little bit goes a long way. Now I'm going into lining. I'm using this pencil from Paula Beauty to underline her eyes so that I have that black beautiful smoky effect. I love this pencil because a little goes a long way and it's beautiful. So I'm using these lashes from Msmetics. I love Msmetics, another brand that I love, and I don't get to use it on YouTube because it finishes on time. It is my favorite lash brand, is the BOJ Cosmetics. BOJ has the most beautiful lashes in Nigeria. Now I am dusting off the setting powders that I used to bake. I am not really dusting off, I am just pushing it into her skin because I don't want to dust off. I just want to press it into her skin very light handedly so that you don't lift off products from her skin. And I'm using this brush from Thegirlzkorner. This brush is so beautiful as well, and it is very, very nice. It has a lot of pieces in one pack. I'm using this spray from Kiss Beauty. This Kiss Beauty spray is like one of the most affordable spray as well, even more affordable than Nigerian brand spray. So I wanted to use like really affordable things. Now I'm using AVOUR lip stain to line a lip. AVOUR is also a Nigerian brand and it is very beautiful. And I'm using the Thegirlzkorner brush to also apply the lip stain. So you guys, I'm really sorry I didn't really film this lip part because time was already going and we just had to finish the old look on time because it was already late. So I'm using this new shade in the inner corner. It is the Becharm Ageless lip palette. It has beautiful shades. When I first got this palette, I didn't like it, but then eventually I found a way around it, and I love this palette. And this is the finished look. I glossed it, I crossed my T's, and I dotted my eyes. I made sure that everything came together. So please click on the subscribe button, like this video so YouTube can recommend this video for other people. Guys, I have a class coming up in January 2024. It's called Divisioning Class with AVOUR, and you really don't want to miss this class. I will be sharing more information about this class on my Instagram at AVOUR. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you learned a thing or two, please comment. I love it when I see your comments. Bye. See you in my next video.